When the dead call your phone, imagine sitting in a dark room, the lights off, the house silent. Your phone begins to ring. You check the screen, and the number is unknown. At first, you think it is just a wrong number. But when you answer, what you hear is not a voice. It is static, heavy breathing, or whispers that sound almost human, but it's not. Panic sets in. You hang up, but the phone rings again and again. Each time, the voice on the other end grows clearer, and eventually, it speaks your name. Stories of ghostly phone calls have existed since the earliest days of the telephone. The first reports came in the late 1800s, when the new invention was still considered a miracle. Operators swore they connected lines to houses that had been empty for years. People claimed to hear their dead relatives speaking through crackling wires. What should have been impossible became a quiet, chilling legend. In the 1970s, paranormal researchers began documenting what they called phone calls from the dead. Entire books were written on the subject. People reported receiving calls from loved ones who had recently passed away. The calls often came at night. The voices were faint, distorted, or hollow, but they were familiar. They spoke of unfinished business. They offered warnings. Sometimes they simply said goodbye. Skeptics explain these experiences as grief, stress, or tricks of the brain. They say faulty phone lines, electrical interference, or radio signals can mimic voices. But the problem with that explanation is how specific these calls can be. Names spoken clearly, secrets revealed that only the deceased could have known, events predicted before they happened. When the evidence builds, coincidence begins to feel like something else. One of the most famous cases took place in Chicago in 1981. A woman claimed her husband, who had died in a car accident, called her just hours after his funeral. She answered and heard his voice saying her name 3 times before the line cut out. The phone company later confirmed the call came from her home number, the same line her husband had used for years. But no one else had been in the house. Other stories are far darker. Some report receiving calls from strangers who whisper in languages they do not understand. In one case, a man claimed the voice on the phone told him the exact date and time of his death. He laughed it off. Weeks later, he died in an accident at that very hour. His family still keeps the phone in a box, unplugged and wrapped in tape, afraid to throw it away. There are even tales of cursed phone numbers. In Bulgaria, a number was said to bring sudden death to anyone who owned it. 3 men who held the number all died under violent circumstances: cancer, an assassination, and a drug cartel execution. The phone company eventually retired the number, permanently removing it from circulation. Technology changes, but the phenomenon adapts. Today, people report missed calls or voicemails from numbers that do not exist, text messages from the dead, emails that arrive from accounts long deleted. The pattern remains the same. When the dead call, the living listen, and the results are rarely harmless. Psychics and spiritualists claim phones act as modern Ouija boards. The signal is a bridge, they say, a frequency that can be hijacked by restless spirits. If a ghost can manipulate electricity, then reaching through a phone is only a matter of energy. And when you answer, you open the door wider than you realize. Think about it. When your phone rings in the dead of night, you do not question it. You answer without hesitation. That instinct is what makes it dangerous. You are giving permission. You are letting something unknown step closer. So the next time your phone rings and the number on the screen is unfamiliar, remember this. Some calls are not meant to be answered. Some voices do not belong in this world. And once you hear them, it may already be too late. Thanks for watching. If you want more haunted tales and dangerous legends, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and dare to continue with the Halloween playlist. But remember, once you start listening, the dead might already be listening back. The end. This is Cryptic Sense.